So, hello and a warm welcome to all who found the place, who found their way to the M2. We have a very important and very interesting topic here, educational resources for visually impaired students. So many people here, so it makes me sure that it's a very important topic also for you all, otherwise you won't come. We have a distinguished panel of speakers and we have two students here which will talk about us, talk about the visually impaired educational resources here with us for the next 1 hour, I think, yeah. We have, and I apologize in advance for misspelling the names, yeah. We have Vurgun SOZER,
yes.
From the Ministry of National Education in Turkey and the Geography Teachers Project Manager. We have FANU, I hope I spell it right, yeah, from Sightsavers. He is the Senior Global Technical Lead in Education. Then we have a new one, which I don't know the name now because he's not on the list, but he will present himself in one sentence, please.
Hello, my name is Alfonso from Sensee.
Okay.
That's enough.
And the two students from Arianna and Riley from Minnesota State Academy, which they will tell us very interesting things about the student life as a person with a visual impairment and what they are doing in this way. So I start with Cesar. Please, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you.
8 minutes, please.
Yes. My name is Sözer Vurgun. I am geography teacher. How would you feel if your child was excluded from play because of a disability, or exempt from class because they lacked the necessary educational materials? Problem: instead adapting the materials of course to the needs of people with disabilities, it's more preferable to exempt the individual from that course. Visually impaired children who do not have toys to play with their friends are exiled from the play. Product: as a first education, the barrier-free education kit has enabled sight. The barrier-free education kit has enabled sighted and blind individuals to receive education together using the same material. In the design, the product, each information is processed with a different surface, texture, and color. A product that can be easily used all over the world has been designed as it offers different language options. Barrier-free education kit by chaining the top panel on the main box. It can be used for teaching more than one subject. The product can be transformed into an intelligent game. The barrier-free kit contains dozens of materials designed specifically for individual differences. With a universal and inclusive design, we have produced materials that provide a cool use for everyone, not just the visually impaired. The barrier-free education kit, which we developed, has paved the way for visually impaired individuals to learn independently without any help from anyone with its tactile and audio system. Design and production. We established a workshop to facilitate the education and lives of all children, especially the visually impaired, and to expand our work. In this workshop, children from different disability groups, children with autism, Asperger's, and Down syndrome, and gifted and talented children design, develop and produce educational materials and toys together. In this way, children with differences are not isolated outside of life, but are fully involved and together. Workshop. The materials we produce together with the children are sent by the children to special children like themselves living in another city or in another country to support the education of the peers. By releasing efforts in the world, in the field of education together with children, we ensure equal opportunity in education. Education process: Ghana, Uganda, Burundi, Pakistan, Zambia, Rwanda. Education activities. We delivered educational materials produced in the tactile educational materials workshop to Ghana, Zanzibar, Tanzania, Zambia, Cameroon, Sudan, Burundi, Rwanda, Uganda in Africa, Pakistan and Japan in Asia together with schools for the visually impaired Turkey. We also give with chance to visually impaired people the countries we visited and taught them how to use them. Educational materials and toys are a first in children's lives. Tactile educational materials enable them to learn about the world and receive the same education as everyone else. They had toys to play with their friends. Thanks to white canes, they were able to move freely and safely. Objective and outcome. Our biggest goal is to reach more children in our country and in many disadvantaged countries around the world and to spread the tactile education materials designed for the first time in the world for the visually impaired all over the world. We're planning to visit a school in Gaza, Palestine, this year as well for a project we were working on. But we cannot reach to and communicate with the school and the teachers. We must work hard, hand in hand, for a better world where no child is killed. In every country we visit, we open workshops to teach instruction how to produce tactile materials. We ensure that the trainers pioneer and the spread of the system in their own countries. In this way, we aim to spread educational material faster in the world and increase the quality of education with workshops we have established, especially in African countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I will save my questions for the end of the 3 awardees. What I forget to say in the beginning, the first 3 presentations are dedicated to awardees of the Zero Project. That's the reason why I have a common question to them then at the end. And then we have our 2 students, and I also forgot to present myself. I'm Klaus HOECKNER. I'm a Zero Project ambassador since many years, and I'm also the chief or the boss of an organization called the Austrian Association Supported the Blind and Visually Impaired. We are a big organization with 7,000 members in Austria and about 60 employees, and that's only one hat I'm wearing. I'm wearing several hats. So let's hand over to Guy FANU from Sightsavers in the United Kingdom, India, blah, 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 and I think in other countries too. I don't know. He will tell it to me. He is also an awardee. A national NGO, Sightsavers, promotes inclusive education with accessible ICT devices in remote areas. In 2022, it supported over 6,000 visually impaired learners across mainstream primary and secondary school, and he will present us now his solution. Thank you. Hand over to Guy.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a great honor to be here today. My name is Guy FANU from Sightsavers, and I'm going to talk on educational resources for students with visual impairments. I'm speaking on behalf of Sightsavers India. I work for Sightsavers, but we have a sister organization called Sightsavers. What am I supposed to do with it?
The clicker.
When I want to move on to a new slide, which bit do I click?
Right.
This red arrow.
This one is the next slide.
That for the next slide.
That's it. And the red one is to go back.
Okay. I'm presenting on behalf of Sightsavers India. This is their work, and they should get complete credit for it. I was hoping that my colleague Archana, BHAMBAL, who's a regional director, could be online with us today, but I don't see her, unfortunately.
I'm very much there. Yes.
Archana, lovely to see you. I've clicked to move on to the next slide. Archana, if you could talk us through this slide, please.
Yeah. So Sightsavers India, it is a development organization working for almost 6 decades for inclusion and avoidable blindness. And Sightsavers India's vision is of a world where no one is blind from avoidable causes and where people with disability participate equally in society.
Please carry on.
So, yeah, so the inclusive education program that is run by Sightsavers India, it aims to promote a positive, enabling and inclusive environment in schools, families, as well as communities to support the holistic education of children with visual impairment. In the slide, we have a picture where pupils in primary classroom can be seen, where children with visual impairment are studying with, along with other children. So the purpose of inclusive education program is that we ensure that children who are blind or visually impaired are included in mainstream education. And this is very crucial for lifting them out of poverty as well, because we work with children who are who belong to very low-income community and groups. So enablement is facilitated by availability of assistive devices and accessible educational materials, provision of compensatory skills training, infrastructure accessibility, building education management and leadership, and other interventions. So it's a kind of a holistic approach where the children can learn in an inclusive environment.
Thanks, Archana. I think I would add to that we're working in 7 states with over 4,000 children with visual impairments.
Right now.
25% of whom are blind. So this is a project which is working at scale. Now, in terms of the work that's being done, there's a very strong focus on bridging the digital divide for learners with visual impairments and ensuring that they have access to learning and age-appropriate devices. Textbooks and teaching and learning materials are provided in accessible ICT devices, and we're working in close coordination with the national education system. And there's a quote from a student here that Sightsavers India provided me with skills training, a smartphone and books in an accessible format. I cleared my 10th board with 64%, all thanks to them. I'm excited to continue my education further. Now, in terms of the support we provide, it's in various stages. Initially, class 1 to 3 Braille training. Class 4 to 5, we introduce the Daisy Player, about which more later, along with continued Braille training. Class 6 to 8, the students are introduced to mobile phones, and class 9 to 12, they have the chance to use laptops and desktops. Again, we will talk about that in a bit more detail later on. And here we have some lovely photos of the children with their devices. A primary pupil, a girl with a smartphone, a primary pupil, a boy with a Daisy Player. These are all primary pupils. And then 2 photos of secondary pupils, one with a laptop and one using a desktop. Now, we have there's a process in place, a very systematic process for introducing these devices. So the ICT devices are only given to the children after training and coaching, for instance, in using the keyboard. The devices are linked to an e-library, so more learning materials can be accessed. So the wonderful thing is, for instance, that learners with Daisy Players can access textbooks, for instance, but also so much more material which has been collected in e-libraries. The devices can be used for multiple purposes: word processing, recording lessons, exploring internet and communication. Refresher trainings are conducted periodically for the children. And parents, teachers and special education teachers are sensitized on ICT device usage and training to support the children. Do we have enough time to show our video? 2 minutes. Okay. But the final point is to emphasize the ownership of this work by the government system. Significant levels of financial, technical and administrative responsibility by the state governments, but also the states have developed block resource centers to support students and teachers to access the technology. So if we could move on to the video, please. Thank you.
Sightsavers India's inclusive education program is being implemented in 8 priority states, and we aim to ensure that children with disabilities receive quality education in an inclusive setting in all the government schools.
मेरा नाम साजिद हुसैन है। मैं कक्षा 9 में पढ़ता हूँ। पहले मैं पढ़ नहीं पा रहा था बुक्स से, ना ही परीक्षा दे पा रहा था। और बुक्स से मेरे को कुछ नज़र भी नहीं आता था। उसके बाद मुझे लैपटॉप मिला, 10 दिन की ट्रेनिंग हुई। इस ट्रेनिंग में मेरे को लैपटॉप चलाना सिखाया और उस लैपटॉप चलाने सीखने के बाद मैं यूट्यूब पे, गूगल पे पढ़ता हूँ। एनवीडिया की मदद से वो मुझे बोल के बताता है कि ये है, इसलिए मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ।
मेन फोकस इसी पर है कि इंक्लूसिव एजुकेशन के तहत जो भी दृष्टिबाधित या अल्प दृष्टिबाधित बच्चा है वो स्कूल से दूर ना रहे, स्कूल में रेगुलर आए। तो एक आईसीटी की मदद से, एक टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से किस तरह से एजुकेशन को आगे बढ़ाया जा सकता था, इस पर हमने फोकस किया। और एक टॉकबैक एक एप्लीकेशन होता है जिसको स्क्रीन रीडर एप्लीकेशन बोलते हैं, मोबाइल में ये वर्क करता है और जो कि स्क्रीन पर जो भी टेक्स्ट, जो भी कंटेंट होता है उसको रीड करके अनाउंस करता है, सुनाता है। तो वो सुन करके बच्चे मोबाइल का इस्तेमाल करते हैं।
मैं यूट्यूब खोलती हूँ, यूट्यूब से सर्च करके या टाइप करके किताबों को खोलती हूँ और उसे पढ़ाई करती हूँ।
मेरा नाम खुशवंत गैरी है। मुझे मार्च से अब फ़ोन मिला है। इससे मुझे बहुत सीखने को मिलता है। वहाँ पे ट्रेनिंग हुई थी, उसमें मुझे फ़ोन चलाना सिखाया था। इसको ऐसे ऑन करता हूँ और बाद में यहाँ से सर्च करके मैं पाठ का नाम बोल के पढ़ता हूँ और वो इसमें सारी बुक में है जो सारा कुछ पढ़ा देता है।
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Let's go over to Mr. Alvarenga, is it right? Alvarenga. He is from Sensee, and I have here some contradiction in the things that I got. Sensee Japan or Sensee California, I don't know. But Sensee created AI technology converting text to Braille rapidly and accurately, enhancing accessibility for visual impaired individuals in STEM education. From 2020 to 2023, they converted about 1.5 million books. I hope this is right. And I hand over to him. We don't have a presentation because we have an exchange in speaker in the last minute. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Alfonso ALVARENGA. Maybe my name is hard to pronounce. I'm from El Salvador, so it's Spanish. I will be very short. I will be very brief. I just want to give you a message, and I hope you will get the message, and you will help us carry that outside here. The message is very simple, it's very clear, and Braille is important. That's it. That's the message. But of course, I have to elaborate, right? So I will start from there. Technology. We are here thanks to technology, and it does take us where we want to go. It's amazing. There are so many projects and initiatives and programs here that are so amazing that while we are flying over here, sometimes we forget that there are people around here that are still trying to learn how to walk. And if we don't take this disparity into consideration, we can create problems in society with very deep roots. In our area of work, particularly Braille books, they have been historically quite hard to produce and costly to produce. Why? Why they are so hard to produce? Well, maybe it's because they take too much time. Historically, they have taken too much time to produce, too many resources, too many people involved. So even though the need exists, the demand for Braille books exists, the offer is just not there because people need books, but they just cannot buy them. They're too expensive. So it's a weird vicious cycle, something of the sort. I don't know how to pronounce it, but you get the idea, right? That the result is that people need Braille, but because they don't know how to get books, they cannot get books. They just say, okay, I will not get Braille because I just cannot. And the end result is Braille illiteracy, and that is such a great problem in society, huge problem in society, not great, huge. And this vicious, this cycle, right, is the one that we want to destroy. Now we say here, walking around, you can say, wow, generative AI, text-to-speech, image captioning. Now the visually impaired can listen to the world. They can listen to books. They can even listen to pictures with this generative AI new technology. It's amazing. It's just amazing. There is no other word to say. It's amazing. But little by little, we are letting the pleasure of reading slip away from their fingers, quite literally, actually. STEM, math books, you know them? Come on, who wants to learn engineering just by listening to the equations? Can you imagine listening to equation over and over just to be able to grasp the idea behind the complex math involving engineering? So people with visual impairment are already one sense short, right, the vision. Why are we allowing for them to lose the pleasure to experience the world by reading? It's a pleasure. How come for us, it's all multimedia here, multimedia there, new videos to learn whatever, but we are relying on audiobooks for the visually impaired, to educate the visually impaired. So only audiobooks? Not enough. So I'm not saying they are not necessary, right? I'm just saying not enough. There's an important distinction there. So with our technology at Sensee, we are already reducing the time and the cost to produce books. And we are also working very hard to produce STEM books in a very short period of time and a very low cost and keeping a high quality. That is what we will never lose focus on, high quality. We still have a long way to go, but we are committed to break this cycle that I'm not going to pronounce the word, but you don't know what I mean. And if you want to help us destroy the vicious cycle, okay, I did it. Well, let's talk. You know where to find us. And if you don't know where, it's Sensee booth 17. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I hand over to the young voices, I have one question to the three awardees, and I really want you to say only 2 sentences. You are awardee of the Zero Project. What do you expect from the program? What is the influence that you expect being an awardee of Zero Project? Let's start with Guy.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand your question.
Yeah, what you are an awardee of the Zero Project, okay? What are your expectations, yeah, being an awardee, and what could it help you in your daily work? What is the contribution that this being an awardee of the Zero Project could be for you and for your work as organization, as Sightsavers, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking on behalf of Sightsavers India, and listening to people over this week, what is really valuable about these awards is it gives recognition to the work that they're doing and inspires them to continue to do so.
Yes. What is your impression? What do you think about this? What is the benefit for you being an awardee of Zero Project? We need translation.
So maybe I can help. Yeah.
Buse, sen yardım edeceksin bana. Bir soru soracaklar. Buyur.
Can we have the question again? Sorry.
I can't understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the question is, what does winning a Zero Project Award mean to you and your organization?
Okay, thank you very much. I'm not translator, but I'm gonna do my best. Zero Project ödülünü almak sizin için ne anlama geliyor?
Thank you. I carried out projects for children and individuals with disability, which I brought at the center of my life. I work for a world where difference can live together, without prejudice, without barriers, equally and accessibly. I give conference and trainings based on inclusion and accessibility. I work with teachers, parents, public and non-governmental organizations. I believe that Zero Project will increase the visibility and reliability of my work, meet people who will contribute to the development of our projects and reach our children.
Thank you. Thank you. And Alfonso, yeah, Alfonso.
Yeah. Well, for us, it's more about the trajectory, and we are very happy to meet people that share our passion, that share our vision. So it's just a pleasure to talk heart to heart here in the event. That's all I have to say about it.
So, thank you. I hope I need at least 5 minutes for each of the following presenters. Let's start with what's your name? I'm sorry. With Arianna HANSEN. Arianna, I'm so happy that you're here. Please, could you a little bit present yourself and tell us more about your life and what you are doing?
Hi, my name is Arianna HANSEN. I'm 19 years old. I have brown hair, blue eyes, I'm white, and I'm wearing a green dress. I'm from the United States of America and attend the Minnesota State Academy for the Blind. I lost most of my sight at 11 years old from a brain tumor. I've had many challenges in my life, including brain surgery, chemo, and other health challenges. When I accepted my vision loss, it was only then that I could move forward and gain confidence. One teacher in particular helped me get through that difficult time. She taught me the skills to be independent, and most importantly, she gave me hope. Braille technology has had a great impact on my education. I was given a Braille display, technology device for the blind, from a program called SSB, State Services for the Blind, which provided me the technology I needed to be successful, to access Braille without embossing it. I also use JAWS, which is a reader software. I wouldn't be able to take college classes without this technology. Without this technology, I wouldn't be able to keep up with my peers without it. I rely on my assistive technology to aid my academic success. My goal in life is to become a teacher for the blind and visually impaired for future generations to come. Before I leave you, I want to share with you this last thought. When I lost most of my sight, a friend gave me a sign which read, "I got this." Those words have always inspired me when I was down, to never give up, to keep moving forward. So if you only remember one thing, remember this: you got this.
Let's hand over to Riley. Riley?
Hello, my name is Riley Christianson. I have white skin, brown hair, blue eyes, and I use a white cane. I was born in the United States of America, and I attend the Minnesota State Academy for the Blind. I was born with all of my sight, but due to a near-fatal accident when I was just 6 months old, I lost all of it, although luckily I was able to gain a little bit of it back over time. I started going to public schools for quite a few years of my life, but after a while they started to lack a lot of the necessary resources I needed. I transitioned over to the Academy for the Blind when I was in 4th grade due to their smaller classroom sizes, peers also having visual impairments, orientation and mobility classes, and inclusive technology. When I made this transition, I felt like I finally found a place where I belonged. The Academy for the Blind had the accessibility I needed. An example of this is that they had pretty much everything in Braille. This was useful because even though I have a little bit of vision, reading print is still a big struggle for me. But since I didn't start going to the Academy for the Blind until I was in 4th grade, I didn't start learning Braille until then either. I had to start taking Braille classes and even practicing it at home. It was a difficult journey, but it was doable. Nowadays, I mainly use Braille for school assignments, but not all of them are in Braille. A lot of them nowadays I use technology for. Stuff like screen readers and screen magnification help out with that a lot. Overall, I'm really glad that I made the transition to the Academy for the Blind, and I think it's one of the best decisions my family and I have made. My future goal in life is to own a vending machine business and to live on my own, and I'm not letting my disabilities stop me from that. So remember, don't let your disabilities stop you from achieving your dreams either. Remember that you can do anything you want as long as you put your mind to it. And remember to always push forward. Thank you guys for listening to my story.
Thank you, Riley. I have one question, and this question is, what resources does the Academy for the Blind have that public schools don't have? Perhaps you can talk a little bit about this in a few sentences.
Like I mentioned earlier, they have a lot of their stuff in Braille. They also have the inclusive technology that I use to help me out with it, like I said, such as screen readers and screen magnification. They also have an app, or not an app, sorry. They have a programmer site on the computers called JAWS, which is another screen reader. So yeah, stuff like that.
And Arianna, I suppose you're using a smartphone?
Yes.
Yes. Are there any apps that help you to cope with your daily life or to work better in the school?
Yes, I use an app for college all the time. It's called, Voice Stream Reader app that I can access any books, and I can even connect my Braille display to it to access the Braille as well.
Okay. That's the only one. You're using other apps too?
Sorry, say that again?
Do you use other apps too?
I also use the magnification app to scan documents to listen to it, or to enhance the visual so that I can see it with the font size I want.
Okay, thank you. Guy, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to quickly respond to what Alfonso said, because you made some very good points. What I would say about the Sightsavers India program is that the children are learning Braille right from the start. So this access to daisy players and other screen readers is in addition to that. But it is very important. I would also like to stress that, you know, technology, and I think you made this point, doesn't mean the end of Braille, but can promote the use of Braille through things like refreshable Braille displays. So we saw, for instance, a child exploring an orbit reader in that film. So it's a very important point, but you can have both.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Maybe my wording was not correct. I didn't mean to diminish the technology, right? I just want to make sure that people don't forget that Braille itself, it's also important. Technology, bravo, let's go. We need more technology. I agree 100%. Just keep the Braille going. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I know this discussion is very old, and we discuss it in every continent. We speak about Braille versus is Braille dying because of technology and all this stuff, yeah? But I don't think that this is now the right forum to discuss this question here. And we have another 5 minutes, and I will give the audience, I would like to give the audience the opportunity to pose 1 or 2 questions. So is there any question from the audience which is really burning? No, nothing? Yeah, okay.
This question is for Arianna. This is Amy Knopf from St. Cloud State University. Could you tell us, you said that you're taking college classes. What is the greatest barrier that you face taking college classes? I assume that you're taking it at a public institution.
Yes, I'm taking it at a public institution called South Central. The question was, how do I access, just like my peers, the information, was it?
No, I said, what is your greatest barrier? Do you have barriers to studying along with your peers?
My greatest barrier is getting the information at the same time because it takes longer, because sometimes they don't know how to exactly make it accessible, because I'm working with different professors with different medias, so that's the biggest barrier I face.
Is there another question from the audience? Over there. Please use the mic.
My name is Vurgun SOZER. I work for Helix Opportunity and also for an organization called MathJacks. My question is, how difficult do you find it to use tactile graphics and in general graphics for STEM education?
Question was about tactile graphics. To whom?
To either of the students and maybe also to the gentleman on the left, how they produce them.
Okay. And Arianna?
I know I used to find tactile graphics pretty difficult when I was younger, but I've gotten more used to using them now because I am in a Braille math class and we do use the Braille textbooks there. I think they still can be pretty tough to use sometimes because I'm not the best at math, but yeah, I think overall they're pretty easy to use, pretty accessible.
Arianna, you want to add something?
Yeah. When I was taking a science class, it was really hard to use tactile graphics, like in chemistry. It was super difficult. And even my teacher was like, I have to redo these in a different format, like using hot glue on a piece of paper to make it sense to make up, so that makes sense to us. So, yeah, they're very difficult.
I have one question to the audience before we close the session. I know one of the biggest problems that we have here is the presentation of math, for example, mathematic formula. Is there any solution on the market that you can see which is really good fitting, let's say, for the needs of blind persons that are using Braille? You know, a solution for mathematics, mathematic formulas? Okay.
Well, I would just like to, if I could just highlight the work of the International Council for the Education of People with Visual Impairments in Mathematics, and a lot of their materials can be downloaded from their website.
Does anyone know what a draftsman board is? Have you used a draftsman board? It's a very low-tech piece of technology. It costs about $30, and we use it for all of our statistics classes and math classes. The draftsman board, it uses a vinyl piece of paper, and a professor can lay it on top of a graph and just use a pen to make a raised representation. And we use that for all of our courses, especially when teaching statistics and normal distributions, and it's been very effective with our blind students.
And in South Asia, of course, the abacus and the tailor frame is used very widely. So sometimes very, very simple pieces of technology can be extremely effective. So you see students making extraordinary complex calculations using these abacuses in very short periods of time. It's really impressive.
So, okay, thank you, and we could discuss another half an hour or hour, but we are now at the end. We are 1 minute before time. Thank you very much for attending us. Thank you very much for the panel, and I hope to see you around here at the Zero Project Conference anywhere. Okay, bye.